What's going on, beach anglers? Welcome back to another episode of What's Happening Surf Fishing. Today we're going to focus on bait placement and how to cast your lines to maximize results. There's three main structure points that I look for when I'm surf fishing: bars, rips, and holes. It's one thing to be able to spot these structure formations, but knowing how to fish them is a whole different ballgame. Just because you've been able to find a rip, let's say, doesn't necessarily mean you know how to fish it. I think we've all gone through this at some point in our surf fishing career, where we find a spot and we're like, that looks great, but exactly how do I fish it? That's what we're going to cover today, guys, on the three major structure points I mentioned before. If you're new to the channel, thanks for tuning in. My name is Blaine Roberts, owner and operator of Panhandle Salt Surf Fishing. We're a surf fishing guide service here in Perdido Key, Florida. We also have a physical location in Perdido Key where we're selling branded surf fishing tackle, bait, and gear. We also partner with many different surf fishing brands, both inside and outside of our area. And we focus hard on bringing products into this shop that you're not going to find anywhere else. Names like Surf Pro Tackle, Fish Gum, Redfin Fishing, and the entire CID Lures USA lineup, which includes GT ice creams, iron candies, and of course the popular Assassin Rod lineup. I think the best way for me to do this, guys, is for me to actually show you. And not out on the beach, but on the whiteboard. This way you guys have a good record that you can refer back to when needed. Let's get into it. These are my three favorite structure points to look for while surf fishing. So we're going to be using the green marker to represent sand. The blue markings will be the water. And then the red will be the structure, the sandbars, the holes, things like that. So I'm just going to leave this up here so you can use it as a reference as we're going over these. So the first target area that I'm always looking for, and when I see one of these spots, I stop immediately. It's where the sandbar cuts way into the shoreline. So this is going to be us back here. The sand, our major first bar out here. Then we have another bar out here, right? You can find these areas, guys, where the sandbar cuts way in like this, and the actual beach, like on land, it'll actually point out, right? These are the points. These are excellent spots to fish, guys. I'm going to use the black marker to represent our lines. So we'll go black, our lines. So when I find these spots, what I'm going to do, guys, is if this is me, let's say I'm fishing a 4-rod spread, I'm putting one line right there. I'm putting one line behind that close sand. I'm taking one downtown. That is excellent bait placement for this types of structure, guys. Take a picture. This is a great little hiding hole for predator fish. Whiting will pile up in there. Reds, I catch a lot of slot reds in that area. Because you have structure here, you have sand. If you walked out on this sand right here, you'd be probably ankle deep. There's not going to be a lot of fish on top of that, but around it is deeper water. So you have a great little ambush point right there. I'm putting a line behind that. Why? Because there's a big lip back there. Just like we have a lip right here at our feet, there's going to be another lip back there, and there's a lip here, which we call the gut, right? So line up close, line behind that close little bar there, putting one in the trough, there's the trough, and then one mid-range. That is probably the number one structure layout I look for while surf fishing. Let's move into another one. This is what I call the double point. So again, here's our beach. This is us. We have our major bar out here. And at these structure points, you're going to get two of those, right? You're going to get a close sandbar here and a close sandbar there. Again, the beach will point out. So you'll have 2 points and very, very close to each other. Those are excellent spots also, guys. For this layout, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm going to put a line there, but I'm going to double it up and put another line close on the other point. And now you have room to play. You can start by maybe putting a line there and line there on the lip on the back side of those close bars. If that's not working out, you can sling one to the gut, put one mid-range. You can even work the sides of the bars on these, right? Put them right there. That is a lot of structure going on for one spot. There is multiple ways to fish structure like this, guys. Now let's talk about a rip or a cut. We'll get our beach back, our major bar, and then we'll make our rip, right? So a rip will go through the bar, and that water is flowing like that, either in or out of the surf zone here. You don't want to put lines directly in the rip. That's some hard moving water. A predator fish isn't going to be hanging out inside that rip. It's uncomfortable. It's got to fight against all that current to stay in place. They'll be hanging out off to the sides. When you're fishing rips, it's important to know incoming or outgoing. Because if it's going back out, it's pulling bait back out, right? Or if it's coming in, it's pulling bait in. And something to keep in mind too, during a low tide, a rip current's gonna be stronger. The pulling force will be stronger. And what's happening with these is small bait fish that can't swim against this, we'll use the black as the bait fish, are getting sucked out. So predator fish will hang out in these areas and move in and out, right? Pick them off, go back. Pick them off, go back. So finding those rips, you want to place lines on either side of it, where those fish are more than likely going to be hanging out. And depending on what else you have around you, let's say there's a hole there too, right? Let's say you see a darker spot in the water. There's a hole there. I'd place a line around there too, because all that moving water, that hole is a comfortable spot for a predator fish to hang out. It can move out, get some bait, and move back in. So not necessarily in that hole, but somewhere around it. And then I'm always gonna keep a line up close. All right, let's go back over one by one the different structure layouts I look for. I'll get the camera right on top of them so you guys can really see. So with our first one, we have that real close sandbar that moves in, and then one point, you can get a line right there in that corner, right behind that sandbar, all the way out in the gut, and then one like mid-range cast. I have our sand spikes drawn here to give you a visual from the sand. You launch that one to the back, hit that corner, put one deep always, and then get one out here just in the free zone. That is an excellent way to fish that structure. When you got the double point, multiple ways to fish this, guys. Two up close, right up there in those pockets, and then two lines behind the actual close sandbar. Still got your major bar running out deep. Let's say the current is pushing from east to west, and that's a great time to put a couple baits over here, maybe one back, as that bait's gonna be pushing into that structure. You can even throw one right out here to catch them as they're coming in. And then our rip, right? Got my sand spikes back on the sand. I'd put a bait about right there and about right there on either side of that rip. And you guys heard me say it before, think like a fish. Looking at my current situation, what's the best spot for me to hang out in, not have to fight against current, and where more than likely an easy meal will be coming through? Once you can start locating those spots, your bait placement's gonna get a lot better. What I showed you here today are some very basic bait placements. They can get a lot more complicated and a lot more advanced. You start getting into which way the current's pushing, wind direction, incoming, outgoing. All those things 100% play into where I'm placing baits. But I believe if you're watching this podcast, you're probably a newer angler or someone who doesn't get out all the time. So I don't want to overload you guys with information in one sitting. Let's first focus on that structure, which layouts look the best to fish, and then where to place baits once we find them. That's it for this one, guys. I hope this was helpful. You can find everything that we're doing at panhandlesalt.com. Online shopping, book a charter. We also do hands-on surf fishing lessons. You can find all our tournament information there. And I need to get better at it, but we do have a blog on there that I kind of keep up with, which will give you guys insights on what's happening in the area right now. As always, thanks for the support, guys. I'll see you on the next one.